Hey guys, thanks for joining me. This is just going to be a quick video on the Velveteen Aglow Photoshop action that I sell, and this is cute little girl modeling a dress for Bubbles and Dirt, and the photo is pretty much done and where I want it. The color of her dress looks good, but I haven't done anything really besides the little bit of lighting adjustments to her face yet. So I am going to go ahead and run this action. Click play. Continue. It's like my favorite go-to action that I usually finish with. And I always start in order of how I have them laid out. And I'm going to go to the Silky Smooth. I like to go to 100% and go over the areas that I want. It's going to be overkill at first. Sometimes it's not. It depends on the lighting of the photo. You don't ever want to go over like the nostrils or the dark areas because it will like highlight them or make them look really weird. So just gonna keep going over. It'll even take little wispy hairs out of some photos depending again on the lighting. I mean, there's not an action that works in every single scenario. This one I usually always am using some of it. So I'm just using my black soft brush. I'm sorry, white, because it's on black. So I'm using my white brush. And I am actually gonna go over her arms, her legs, mostly just so the tension is drawn to the dress since it's a fashion photo. Okay, so now that I have that, I'm gonna take it down because she looks too plasticky for my liking. I'm gonna leave it right there, and then after I put some light on her face, it will take a little bit of the plastic off. So the face pop is to brighten the subject's face. Now the light is coming from this area, so we want to keep the light brightening up like as if the light is shooting her face the same way. Instead of just doing this on the other side, we want to keep that shadowed, which it will stay shadowed, but some of the actions will brighten it up, I think, too much, and you don't want to just focus on that side. So I'm gonna go backwards. I go to like a 10% brush, so I just did return, tab, enter, and it took me to the flow, and then I clicked 1, 0, and clicked return or enter again, so I don't have to go up there and manually adjust. And I'm just going to brighten it up a little bit, but not at 100%. Rosy cheeks, I do tend to use more in studio than outside, because outside you have so much warmth and color. Okay, brush on dark circles, I'm not even going to use it. Sun-kissed, I'm not going to use it either. I don't usually use that in studio. But again, it depends on how you take the photos. There's really not a right or wrong or a way, but if I continue putting these videos out, maybe you can learn the way I use it. Stand out, if I don't know. Oh, the Aglow is also for highlights on the cheekbones, which I don't feel like I need for this picture either. I'm going to go return, tab, 100. Oops. And change the flow to 100% and just see what the standout does. Sometimes I just go over all of it to see where I'm at, and then I'm going to click undo. And I'm going to actually go return tab and go to 10% on my flow. And I'm just going to sort of go over some of the shadowy areas just to give her a little bit more standout. And then up here, it's kind of washed out the way I had the lighting set up. So I'm just going to kind of go over that. So you can see this is after, this is before. So it's just kind of bringing those blacks back in a little bit. And then I'm going to take it down though, even a little bit, so it doesn't get too black. Rich golden contrast is a contrast boost as well. I'm going to go to 100% on the flow again. And it has a little bit of a warm tint to it. You sometimes can't see the warm tint, but some photos you will be able to see it greatly. And again, sometimes I use the contrast, sometimes I don't. I like what it's doing. It's just a little bit harsh. You can go, it's a really harsh one if you went way up. I'm going to take it down about 12, maybe to 12. Darken cheeks if needed. I don't think she does need that. Again, sometimes I'll just kind of play and see. Yeah, which I would go way down on the blending on the percent, but I don't even think she needs it, so we're just going to take it off. This is if you need more light. A lot of times after I'm done editing, I do want to bring more light to the subject. She really doesn't. I think she's pretty good. I might do one streak and then take it way down. Let's see. No, I actually liked it without, so we're just going to delete that one, or you can take it off or delete it. I would probably just take the eyeball thing off, not delete it in case you need to go back and reference it. The Baby Soft is nice because it softens the image. So if you ever go too dark and contrasty, or you've taken it in really harsh lighting, it'll kind of give it that soft effect, and you could put it anywhere. I don't need it in this photo. If there's too much red, sometimes I'll even go down the middle of the face and take the red off, leaving the red on the cheeks. That was a little bit severe. I don't want to desaturate her too much, so we'll also take that down. Powder is very similar to the Baby Soft, kind of as like a white film. You could use it on the background if it wasn't a white background, or just again to kind of powder the face. Lots of different ways, and when you need it and you're working on a photo, you'll know when you need it. So just play around with these, and a lot of times I do. Sometimes I'm looking at a photo and it's hard to determine as a photographer what that photo needs, and it really helps me just by playing around with these and getting a feel. This is for extra drama contrast. Let's see if I go over her face. It makes it stand out quite a bit, but it makes it too contrasty a lot. I rarely use these bottom two. If you have a really hazed out photo, maybe with backlight, and you've taken it outside with the sun, sometimes those come in handy more. For studio, I really don't need to use them. So this is another contrast boost. So I went at 100% just to show you. If you go closer, it was there and then it's there. So again, it doesn't need it in this situation, in my opinion. Just gonna take that off. So that is a wrap. That's basically all I'm going to use this action for, but it kind of finished the image for me, besides the wrinkle that I need to take out on the clothes because I couldn't find my steamer. Okay, so this was before and this was after. So again, I call it a subject pop because it really brings out the entire subject. It's really hard though working in fashion because sometimes the clothes get a little bright. I might come back to the face pop. I think I put that over her dress. And I'm gonna go to my white brush, a white color, and then a soft brush at 10%. I'm gonna take some off. And if I don't remember if I did color somewhere, I can click the backslash on the keyboard and it's gonna show me. So I think the only thing is her dress has a little bit too much brightness on it. So at a 10% flow, I am going to set the foreground color to black, and I'm going to brush back some of that brightness that I had added to her dress because it was almost discoloring the dress, making it a little bit too like just too bright. Now I'm going to click back to the white brush and actually put a little bit on, because you don't want to, I could easily make this all dark, but then it's not going to look natural. And that's what you really have to make sure that you do as a photographer. And I think I've grown into that over the years of doing photography. I used to just, in the past, like brighten up the whole subject and not really think about where the studio lights were or where the sun was and those things really come into play with making a photo look good. And I think a lot of times people, when they look at a photo and it just looks off, they don't really know why. Not photographers, I'm just talking an average non-photographer person. And a lot of times it is because the way you've edited a subject is different than the lighting when you took the photo. So something to think about. And that's a wrap for using my action on this cute little girl, and hope that helps. Thanks for joining me.